It's bad, it's not good. But his eye is a little bit more closed.
It has passed and he still can't see. Of course he couldn't see on the night. He still can't see now, unless...
Tom Aspinall's father, Andy, publicly blasted Dana White and the UFC for negligence and broken promises. He's furious that Tom bears consequences for something that wasn't his fault, while others face nothing. For Andy, this is about fairness and respect. Families suffer watching helplessly, and he won't stay quiet until the UFC makes real changes.
I'm just bothered that my kid's got a job that he likes and he wants to do it, and he's been fouled in a contest. The guy who fouled him, no consequence to him, and now there's a consequence to Tom. And hopefully it'll be all right, but it might not be.
Andy described the heartbreak of watching Tom suffer until he couldn't fight, leaving the team helpless. His key point: rule-breaking fighters who cause serious injuries must face real consequences. Yet the UFC has changed nothing. The organization's failure to prevent career-ending incidents frustrates him most. Andy isn't asking for special treatment. Just three things: justice, consistency, and systematic reform to protect all fighters before another career is destroyed. His urgent message: the UFC must act now before it's too late.
From our side, it was horrendous. Because our main guy, who we all work with and round and are with every day, couldn't see, and you saw the mood he was in. So upset and so grieved. And Cyril, I'm sure, the same, but he fouled. There's a consequence, or should be consequence, to fouling, and he's not got a consequence. And I'm not saying he should have. The UFC have got some rules that what will it take to change those rules? Will it take somebody's eye being poked and falling on the floor? I don't know if that's a thing. I'm sure it's not, but what does it take?
Andy Aspinall directly accused the UFC of putting profits ahead of fighter safety. He suggested simple fixes like using Pride's old glove designs could prevent injuries like Tom's, yet the organization refuses to act. His key question: how many more fighters must suffer before the UFC makes necessary changes? The message resonated strongly with fans concerned about fighter protection.
And is it the money that, you know, people won't watch the fights because they're not as exciting, because the gloves are not as good? I don't know the answer. The old Pride gloves were different, but something, from my point of view, needs to be done in the sport to stop happening what happened on Saturday night in Tom's fight.
Michael Bisping made clear that Tom is the victim who got injured through an illegal eye poke, even if accidental. He criticized Dana White's fumbled press conference response and expressed frustration over the UFC's pattern of ignoring these incidents, leaving injured fighters to deal with the consequences alone.
Situation. Everyone needs to shut the hell up, because Tom Aspinall was the victim of a foul. He wasn't the guy that went out there and fouled Cyril Gane. It was unintentional, and Dana White was asked about that at the post-fight presser. How do you determine unintentional versus intentional? His response was, I don't know.
No matter what you do with the glove, I mean, they're going to happen.
And the reality is, how do you do that, okay? Unless you know Cyril Gane says beforehand, I'm going to foul him, I'm going to poke him in the eye. Unless you hear someone say that, it's always unintentional. I don't think any fighter means to poke somebody in the eye, and I'm granted.
Bisping confirmed Tom was the victim of a severe eye poke foul, backed by slow-motion evidence. Despite Gane being a respectful fighter, the incident sparked MMA-wide debate. Bisping warned that without proper enforcement, even accidental fouls threaten the sport's integrity.
Let's remember, he's the guy that's been fouled. Poking people in the eye is not allowed. That is a foul, okay? So it was Cyril Gane's fault that this happened in the first place. Again, I'm not criticizing Cyril Gane. I thought he looked really good. He's an honorable guy. He's a great fighter. I've got tremendous respect for him. But the fingers were out. They caught him. And as we saw on the slow-mo several times, it was deep. It was knuckle deep. And of course, everybody's got an opinion on this.
Andy Aspinall revealed the severity of Tom's condition. His right eye sees only gray, and his left eye is also damaged. Medical tests confirmed serious injury with an uncertain recovery timeline. This isn't a minor setback that heals quickly. It's a career-threatening situation. One moment, Tom was pursuing championship glory. The next, he's facing the possibility of permanent vision problems. No fighter prepares for this kind of devastating turn.
He kind of basically did the same as the guy that we saw over there. Said, it's bad, it's not good. But his eye is a little bit more closed than it was. His right eye still can't see anything. He said it's just grey. And they tested him on words and he just couldn't see anything. His left eye, 50%, he went down about 4 letters and then couldn't see the letters. So one's really, really blurry and one's still not working.
Bisping aggressively dismissed accusations that Tom faked his injury. He made clear no fighter would pretend to have blurred vision days after a fight, calling such claims disrespectful and completely baseless. He directly confronted critics who suggested Tom was making excuses, reminding them that fighters sacrifice everything in the octagon. Bisping's message, mocking someone's legitimate injury, reveals how disconnected some fans are from the brutal reality of the sport.
That's not good, okay? So, given that a few days has passed and he still can't see, of course he couldn't see on the night. He still can't see now, unless we're all assuming that Tom Aspinall's lying, that he's making this up, right? Come on, that's a stretch. That's too much. That's absolute nonsense, okay? There's no way the guy's doing this. You can go home and say, right, it's been a while, he's recovered now, I'm really annoyed, let's run the fight back. But he's not saying that. He's saying that he still can't see. And if he can't see 3 days after, I guarantee he couldn't see on the night of the fight. That's why he was saying it, okay? So saying that the man was looking for a way out, it's just not fair.
Wade Plemons didn't hold back, claiming there's genuine bad blood between Dana White and Tom Aspinall. He cited Dana's cold and dismissive demeanor at the press conference, despite Tom being the heavyweight champion and the injured party. Wade's comments suggest the tension runs deeper than public appearances indicate, potentially influencing how the UFC handles situations involving Tom behind closed doors.
Especially at the post-fight press conference with Dana White, after Tom Aspinall gets poked in his eyes, and again, not his fault, can't really do anything about it, and can't continue fighting because he can't see.
Wade didn't stop there. He went deeper, suggesting Dana's issues with top fighters, especially his heavyweight champions, aren't just about money. He hinted at a bigger pattern: ego, control, power plays. It was a chilling thought that maybe the UFC's biggest problem isn't the gloves or the rules, but how much control one man holds over the entire sport.
Dana White having issues at the top of the food chain, especially with his heavyweight champions, and I'm going to get into what I think is exactly why. It's not just money, it's part of it.
Ariel Helwani expressed serious concern over Tom's ongoing vision problems, emphasizing the weight of hearing this from Tom's father rather than a manager. This is a worried parent, not PR spin. Helwani strongly condemned any talk of rushing Tom back to fight, calling it absurd given the circumstances. His somber tone reflected the gravity of the situation and its potential to derail Tom's entire career. His message was unequivocal. No comeback is worth risking permanent damage.
Again, that's Tom's father. Not his coach or his manager, it's his dad, who is also his coach and manager, but most importantly his dad. Saying that he can't see still is obviously very concerning, and you hope that he'll be able to make a recovery at some point. But that's why all this talk about, like, put him on the MSG card in December is crazy, right? It's just absolutely crazy.
Oh, man,
anyone questioning him. And you know, PC, we live in a world where it's like the more you tell people, the more people think you're bullshitting in a weird way, right? Like, oh, look at them trying to like paint this picture. I appreciate the fact we don't get this kind of transparency from anyone. Like, most people are hiding for a week or so after something like this. So I appreciate the fact that they're putting this out, and obviously urge everyone to check out the whole thing and wish them the best.
Eric Jackman highlighted the impossible position Tom faces. If he's healing, people doubt him. If he's still injured, they accuse him of exaggerating. Jackman's point was clear. The public is never satisfied, and fighters like Tom are trapped in the middle, judged harshly regardless of the truth. It's a stark reminder of how social media transforms every injury into a debate, with fans quick to forget these athletes are human beings dealing with real consequences.
They said in that video, whatever they believed going in, they're gonna double down on. If he came out and said, look, Tom's fine now, he can fight soon, they'd be like, he was faking it. Now they're like, look, he's still experiencing it. They're like, they're bullshitting, they're just milking it. Like, there's no...
MMA Guru reacted in his own unique way, mixing humor with real shock. He described the eye poke like it was something out of a horror movie, joking about how brutal it looked, but clearly disturbed by it. Underneath the jokes, you could tell he was genuinely rattled by how bad the foul was and what it did to Tom.
I'm distraught. I'm broken. I don't know how to feel about this. But Tom Aspinall, basically, Cyril Gane went bowling and used Tom Aspinall's face as a bowling ball. All he was missing was a thumb in the mouth. I swear. He had 2 fingers up top in each eye, 1 thumb in the mouth, and Cyril was about to bowl a strike with Tom Aspinall's head.
Guru called out how people are wrongly treating the no contest as a loss for Tom, ignoring that it ended from an illegal foul. Critics are unfairly questioning Tom's abilities just because the fight lasted longer than his usual quick finishes.
It's a tough one to watch, but a lot happened aside from the eye poke. Unfortunately, it did end with the eye poke. And that is being, like, seen as some kind of, like, loss for Tom. I think the fact that this went past 2 minutes was always going to be seen as some kind of loss for Tom. So unless it went perfect for him, as it usually does, I think anything will be seen as like, this was the worst. Oh my God, he did terrible compared to what he normally looks like. This was a bad performance from him because it went 4.5 minutes long into the fight. So therefore, that's how people are going to perceive this. But I think there's some kind of like, people are doing like some kind of victory lap for the loss of Tom Aspinall from him being gouged in his eyes and the fight being called off, when really collectively we should be like...
Teddy Atlas offered a technical fix. Redesigned gloves could prevent most eye pokes. He suggested flexible webbed gloves that keep fingers closer together while still allowing grappling. Calling the incident tragic, Atlas urged genuine innovation in glove design to better protect fighters moving forward.
The fingers, the hands. But there's got to be a way with a webbed glove, with a pliable glove that can pull the fingers together and restrict some of the eye poking, you know, by pulling the hands together, putting them into some sort of, again, proper glove that they still can use their hands when they need to open them, but otherwise keeps them semi-closed and the fingers together to avoid some of these eye pokes. There's got to be some way to do that. But at the end of the day, it was unfortunate.
Teddy described how the no contest ruling sucked all the energy out of the arena. With no winner or loser declared, it's as if the fight never existed, leaving only disappointment. He noted the fight was just building momentum before the abrupt, brutal end. Everyone was left wanting more, but for all the wrong reasons.
It took the air out of the room really fast. High expectation for the fight. And yeah, we picked that one. It's a no contest, so you don't lose. There's no winner, there's no loser. The fight never took place, in other words. So, but I thought we were on our way because we picked the over. The over was 1.5 rounds. And the first round was about to end. And it looked like he was going to...
Demetrius Johnson slammed fighters like John Jones and Alex Pereira for mocking Tom online, calling it a low blow since Tom was injured. DJ condemned attacking fighters when they're down, drawing from his own experience with criticism. He showed what true champions do. Defend others instead of kicking them while they're vulnerable.
Right? Tom Aspinall, we talked about before, he had to win this fight. Obviously, you know, for his legacy and for him to, you know, not back up everything, you know, he talked about, but like John Jones, I'll never forget what he said. Here today, gone tomorrow. And the first thing I saw when I woke up was my beautiful wife. But besides that, I looked at John Jones' Instagram and I saw he changed his avatar to a duck with an eye patch. And then you have Alex Pereira sitting there watching the fight, and he sits there and goes, cut chama. And then everybody piles up on somebody when they're defeated or they're injured or something like that. I didn't like that feeling whatsoever for Tom Aspinall because the man did get impregnated in his eyes.
The Aspinall gain incident has evolved into something far larger than a single fight gone. It's exposed fundamental flaws in the UFC system. Andy Aspinall's anger, Bisping's defense, and Helwani's concern all point to one conclusion. The UFC can no longer ignore these issues. Does the UFC need immediate action after this incident? Should Dana White be held accountable for not addressing glove design sooner? Was Andy right to publicly voice his frustration? Will Tom ever fully recover to 100%?